Peace and blessings. This is part 2 of episode 26 of Mere Moments with Tia DeShay podcast. I am Tia DeShay. I write now so others can remember later. I produce Parts from Chaos. I am a spiritual teacher for social, generational, and personal change. I'm a daughter of the Most High God. I am an ambassador of the Kingdom of God. I'm about my Father's business. It is my intention to fulfill the scriptural mandates of Jeremiah 1:9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and put out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. And Revelation 10:11, then I was told you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. It is my prayer for Matthew, the 13th chapter and the 35th verse, to unfold in my life, ministry, and practice, so was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. Luke 21:15, for I will give you words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict. All right, let's share the screen. So we talked about, once again, this is Mere Moments with Tia DeShay, episode 26, Monday, October 28th, 2024. This is part 2 of episode 26. Part 1, we talked about the election 2024, and we talked about marriage. The last thing I want to say about marriage is that when you are truly married, you have no time for anything else other than your marriage. And let me clarify that, meaning you don't have time for anything else than doing things, engaging in activities that support and sustain the marriage. So that could be you going back to school, that could be you starting a business, reading books, going to therapy, or whatever. But everything that you do is aligned with supporting and sustaining that marriage. And it's not to say that you don't have, it's clearly not to say that you don't have, what's the word that I want to say? That you don't have goals that you are attempting to accomplish, that you don't have assignments divine assignments that are given to you. It's not to say those things. It's not to say that you are not an individual and you have interests and things that pertain to your individuality and your personality. What I'm saying is that everything is in alignment. Like all of those things are there to support the marriage. They not only support you and help you grow as a person and you engage in your self-care activities, but remember, a empty cup can't pour into an empty cup. So with marriage, everything you're doing is for the benefit of that partnership, that marriage. Even though it's benefiting you personally, individually, it's also connected to the partnership. So it's helping you individually, it's helping you personally, but it's also helping the marriage. It's a dual purpose. So you don't have time for anything else. If you are on social media and you're not advertising a business, or it's not there to make money, and you're married and you're on social media for hours every day, but you're married, then how are you married? Because if it's not supporting your marriage, why are you spending hours on social media? If you're married, how do you have time to sit on the phone for 2 or 3 hours and gossip with your girlfriends? Or you're sitting watching 4 or 5 hours of Netflix if you're married? Like it's not, you haven't fully committed to the marriage, because those things are not possible if you're not fully committed to the marriage. Because you are constantly doing things that not only improve you individually, but they also improve the marriage. So you don't have time for anything else that is not improving you individually and not improving the partnership or the marriage. It's not happening. You cannot say you are married and you spend 5 hours a day on social media. You spend 5 hours watching Netflix or watching TV in general or having useless conversations with people or, just being nosy or gossiping or being in other people's business. Is no way. There's no way you're having a successful marriage and you're doing things that are counterproductive to the partnership, to the marriage, and you are engaging in activities and doing things that are counterproductive to your personal development. Because remember, it's a partnership, it's a marriage. So if you are growing and evolving and being a better person, your marriage can't help but to grow and evolve and become better. So it's something to think about with marriage. If you got all this time to do all these activities outside of your marriage and it's not benefiting the marriage, and if children are involved, it's not benefiting the children, it's not benefiting you personally, as far as personal development, then what are you doing? It's no way you have fully committed to the partnership of marriage. There's no way you fully committed to parenthood. It's no way. If you got time for all this other stuff, that means something is lacking or something is suffering. Something is going by the wayside if you got 20 hours to be, out here working or being in the community, but you're not spending time at home. Not saying it's not important. It is important to work because you have to provide, a home, food, and things like that for the family. But something is going to suffer if there's no balance. So that's what I'm learning about marriage. That everything, when you are married and in a partnership, everything you do is tied to improving that partnership or marriage, even if it's something individually for you, like going to school and getting a degree or starting a business or reading a book or going to therapy or exercising. Yes, those things are helping you to grow individually, but it's also the better you are, the better the marriage is. And those are the things that I'm learning from people that are married, that, I'm under their mentorship. It all has to connect. So if you just doing things to benefit you and you're not including your partner, then why are you married? If it's just all about you and the recognition that you get, and you don't want your partner involved, you get irritated, then that means that you're just doing it for self, and it's not for the growth and the benefit of the partnership or the marriage. If you're doing things, when your partner is not around, you're hiding things or engaging in behavior and activities when your partner is not around, you don't tell your partner, then why are you married? If you're making decisions without the partner, without your spouse, why are you married? Like it's just like being in business with somebody. Like a business is not going to be successful if you're in partnership with someone, but yet you're acting like you're a sole proprietor. You don't want to consult with your partner in business. You just want to do everything your way. So why did you get into partnership? You should have just been by yourself. But all this comes when you don't have mentors in marriage. You don't read about it. You don't study it. You don't do a deep dive about it. You don't get understanding about it. And you just think, oh, how hard can it be? Let's just get married. when you don't study it, you know, all that's important. Reading books about it, watching videos about it, going to premarital counseling. Like I said, having mentors that are married that you feel have successful marriages, going to therapy, learning about being financially literate. You know, how are you all dealing with your finances? Do you agree about how to spend the money? You know, do you have joint bank accounts? Are you got a stash somewhere else, you know, because you don't want your partner to know? Like all of that needs to be discussed. Either discussed, agreed upon, not agreed upon, however you choose to talk about it. If your spouse unfortunately dies before you're expecting them to die, or before they prematurely die, it's like something tragic, are you able to maintain? Are you able to maintain, or does your whole world fall apart because you didn't set yourself up? And it's not to be contradictory, because your spouse, that death is just what it is. We all gonna die. That's what we all have in common. We're all gonna die. So your spouse, you should have these conversations. If I were to leave, you know, before you, are you going to be able to maintain? Are you going to be able to keep going? Are you going to be able to maintain a lifestyle that you have been accustomed to with me being here? And if not, if the answer is no, then what are you all doing together to put things in place where that's possible? Because a spouse shouldn't die and then you just don't know which way to turn, because you were so dependent on this person's income and this person doing this, and you just sat on your butt and did nothing. And then God forbid they get disabled, they become disabled and they can't work, or God forbid they leave here before their time, and you left, you know, in the house with the children, or you just left with the debt and you don't know what to do because you just sat on your butt the whole time, or there was no type of budgeting, no type of spending plan, no type of investing, and you just stuck like Chuck. That's the marriage. That's what I'm learning about marriage. Because those uncomfortable, hard conversations need to be had. Because death is inevitable. And are you able to keep going when a spouse dies? And what are you doing with your time? When you're married, what are you doing with your time? When you go into marriage and you don't go in, and you're not going in with the mindset of, yes, this is going to help me individually, but it's also going to help my marriage. If everything is just like, it's all about me and this is what I want to do, but you can't make the connection of how the marriage is going to benefit, then what? Because I truly do believe, you know, I hear the statement that there's no I in team. And I remember reading, I think it was Shaquille O'Neal, who he said that Kobe Bryant made the comment, you know, when people say, well, there's no I in team. And Kobe Bryant made the comment that, but there's a me in that bleep bleep. And I laughed because I'm just like, yeah, that's true. There is me and team. There is the word me and team. However, the me and team still has to, whatever the me and the team is doing, is still going to affect the team. Yes, there is a me and team, which means that yes, you are important. What you do is important. Your individuality is important. Your authenticity is important. But at the end of the day, how does all that contribute to the growth and the advancement of the team? And I want to make it clear that marriage is not about losing who you are, that you just wait hand and foot on your husband, or you just wait hand and foot on your wife, or you become a parent and you don't have no life and there's no type of self-care, no type of date nights, no type of vacation. I'm not saying that. You do not lose yourself. If that's the case, then why did you get married? Because marriage is not only supposed to help you and teach you how to be in a partnership, but you should encourage each other to be authentic and to be themselves and not to lose themselves in the marriage. At the same time, you being authentically you is to help the marriage. And I don't know any other way to explain it. You can still be you, but how does it help the advancement of the partnership? If being you causes division in the marriage, then that means that you all shouldn't be together. That you're not ready to do to blend together, to find that rhythm. Like it sounds contradictory, but it's not. You can be you in a marriage and still fill your cup and still contribute to the growth of the marriage. It is possible. It's that we have to be taught. It has to be modeled to us. Each person has to respect the other person and encourage the other person to grow. Go. Yeah, go to school. Get that degree. Oh, yeah, start that business. Yes. Because when you're not threatened by your spouse, you're going to encourage that. When you're not competing with your spouse, you're going to encourage that. Because you understand that if I encourage my spouse to go to school or start that business, it can't help but to benefit me because we're in partnership together. What does it look like me telling them, no, you can't do it and you stay underneath my thumb? When we're in marriage, we're in partnership, we're in covenant. Eventually, it's going to hurt me if I don't encourage you to grow. At the same time, it hurts the marriage when you are all out here just focusing on things outside of the marriage. You know all about the latest celebrity gossip. You know always talking about what's on the news, but you're not paying attention to your spouse. You're not paying attention to the children if there's children in the marriage. Your focus is all wrong. You can be nosy and paying attention to everything that's going on in the neighborhood, but you don't know what's going on in your own house. So why are you even married? If you knew that you wanted to focus on the celebrity gossip and you wanted to focus on what's going on in the neighborhood, and if you wanted to focus on what your girlfriend's doing or what your friends, your homeboys are doing, if you knew you wanted to focus on that more than your marriage and your children, then you shouldn't have got married and had children. Because as with anything, the more you invest in it, the bigger your return on your investment. The more you invest in being a parent, the more you invest in marriage, the more rewards you'll see. The reason why the marriages, don't work or there's issues is because you're investing in things that have nothing to do with the marriage. And that's why you're having issues. All right, perception and deception. Here is a story that I would like to tell. So those of you that have a Ring app or a Ring camera on your phone, on your home, whether you have a Ring doorbell or you have some type of Ring camera device at your home, you know that it comes with an app. And so on the app, there is a neighborhood section where people can post things that, if they feel like it's suspicious activity, they can post it and let their neighbors know to be mindful. If you see this person, they look suspicious and they may be, up to no good, or I caught this person breaking into houses, or I caught this person breaking into cars, whatever. So you got a Ring app, that it's a feature in the app that lets you know what's going on in the community and in the neighborhood. So back in August, a notification came up on my phone, because clearly I have a Ring app, I have a Ring camera, and I have the app. So it was my mentors, my extended family, my mentor. It was her husband. Well, the first video, it was really short and he moved really fast. So at first I was like, I'm not sure that's him. It looked like him, but I'm not sure that's him. So the same person posted the second video of him. Now, the first video was of him. He had a small box, and I think it was like in the evening time, early evening time. This was back in the summer in August. And he put the small box on the porch and rung the doorbell and left. So I was like, okay, it looked like him, but I'm really not sure if it's him or not. So then the same person, because they had a Ring doorbell, they posted another video. And clearly it was him. It was my mentor's husband. And he had a box in his hand with an envelope on top, and he was telling the person was talking. It was a man talking to him through the Ring camera, and he was like, I have something for you. This is my mentor's husband talking, and he like, I got something for you. I need you to come out and get this. And so the man is like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever, I'm not coming out. No, I'm not, or just leave the box on the porch. And he like, no, I need you to come out and come get this. Come get this. So I'm looking like, okay, what is going on? Like, what is he doing? Like, why is he talking, got box? Why does he have a box in his hand and he wants this man to come out? And it's clearly, I could see on the video, it's clearly not a box that came through the U.S. postal system. Like, it was a box that was at home, that he had at home. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing? So I was like, okay. So I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I should tell her, because what if he's doing something that he's not supposed to be doing? And I could be just, causing trouble or confusion or whatever. So I saved the videos, and I was just like, okay, God, when you if you open the door for me to reveal this information. Now, mind you, on the Ring app, the assumption is somebody is doing wrong. You're thinking these people are criminals, they're suspicious, don't trust them. That's your automatic assumption. Because why else are people posting this? They're telling you to be on the lookout. Okay, so clearly all the people who saw this video, some people made comments and were like, who is this weirdo? And what kind of box is he dropping off? And it ain't even a box. I mean, all kind of comments. The box is not even, you could tell it came from his house, and all these comments being made. So that was back in August. So yesterday I talked to my mentor, and before the conversation ended, I said, are y'all having any problems with the neighbors? And she was like, what do you mean? So I went on to tell her, she told me like, well, yeah, the same old with the girl, next door and her children and all that. She said the same old stuff. She said it ain't nothing new, and she said it's nothing new. So I was like, okay, and I explained to her about the Ring app and all of that. And I said, it's two videos that really look like your husband. And I explained to her what was on the videos, and I'm like, I need, it could be him, could not be him, but it really looked like him, and maybe you should see this. So she was like, yeah, send it to me, send it to me. I need to see it, I need to see it. Well, come to find out, after I sent her the videos, come to find out, his daughter, one of his daughters was living in a multifamily house. And I don't know if she was upstairs or downstairs, but she was living in a duplex. She was renting out a duplex, and her neighbor was a man, and he's a peeping Tom. They have a shared basement. Like, I've been over there before for like a party. Oh, it was some years ago, but the basement is finished. It's a nice, huge basement, and they share the basement. So, clearly down there, it's like you can live down there. You can literally live down there. So it's a bathroom, a kitchen, a laundry space. All of that is in the basement. So they have a shared basement. So her neighbor who lives in the other part of the house, I want to say she lived upstairs. So he or she lived downstairs, one of them. But anyway, she lived in one part and he lives in the other. So he was putting cameras. He was putting cameras down in the basement, in the bathroom in the basement, watching her. So she had went to court. She talked to the landlord about it. We'll come to find out that somehow the landlord and this tenant were cool. I don't know if it was family or whatever. So her talking to the landlord didn't mean anything because she had some type of relationship with this person. So she wasn't trying to kick this person out. So she went to court and she had to get a restraining order, a PPO out on the person. So what I saw on the video was that my mentor's husband, her father, was attempting to serve the person the papers. So he was using a box as like, oh, I have a package for you. I need you to come sign for it. This package is for you. He was trying to, con the man or come up with a creative way to get the man out the house so he could serve the papers to him for the PPO. So this man was putting on the Ring app, making it seem like my mentor's husband was just this deranged, delusional person, and he just dropping off strange boxes at the house, and he don't know who this person is, when in reality, you're a whole peeping Tom. You're planting cameras in places, and you are invading the privacy of this man's daughter. And so now she took out a PPO out on you, and now he's attempting to serve you. But now do you see perception and deception? How he presented it, how we all perceived it as like, okay, what's going on? What is this man doing? Because even I was looking like, okay, what's wrong with him? Like, is he okay? Is he starting to lose, his mind, or what's going on with him? Like, this ain't like him. Like, I know him. I mean, I may not know him because you don't truly know anybody, but I said I know him well enough that he just ain't he wouldn't randomly just be putting boxes on people's houses. Like, what? So notice the perception and the deception. This person put out an image or wanted people to have a perception of this man as, oh, he's weird, he's delusional. I don't know what's in that box. He crazy, but all along, you're the one that's crazy. The person well, not crazy, but you're the one in the wrong. You're posting this, making it seem like this man has something wrong with him and he's doing something crazy and you should be scared of him and you should be mindful of him, if he comes on your porch. Well, all along you were being a peeping Tom with his daughter and he's attempting to serve you papers. So be very mindful of what people are trying to give you. Be very mindful of how people are manipulating you to perceive a situation or a person a certain way. Because it's like you could fall into the trap. You can fall into the trap and fall into the gossip and fall into the starting to throw dirt on people's name and, starting to slander people. You can do all of that. And don't even realize that the person who got you to believe that or to perceive a person or a situation that way, they're the one in the wrong. They are the one in the wrong. So you be very mindful because there's always three sides to a story. It's one person's side, the other person that's involved in it, their side, and then it's the truth. And I see so many times on social media that people will make a post about something and they make it seem like they're the victim. And then people will chime in, giving their 2 cents, giving their support. And you don't even realize that what they're telling you is completely false. And you never know who's watching these videos. Like this person, this man who posted this, he didn't know, he clearly don't know that I know the man that you're posting. Now, if I had known what I know now, I definitely would have commented and I definitely would have exposed him. Because now you're presenting a lie, a false narrative about this person. And you don't know how it could affect his livelihood. You don't know if he applied for a job and his future employer was looking at the video and saw him, and that determined whether or not he was going to get hired or not. You don't know that. That's why you have to take what you see, what you hear on social media with a grain of salt. Because people will lie. They will make it seem like, oh, woe is me. I'm the victim. They did this and they did that. And other people, unfortunately, we live in a society where people are so gullible that they don't go do the research themselves and they just believe whatever is presented and just take what they say as fact, and they just chime in and add fuel to the fire and don't even bother to go and research and go talk to the person, none of that. Then they start saying, yeah, I knew it was something wrong about that person because they did this and this and that 15 years ago to me. I knew it was something shady about that person. All along, you're not even realizing that the person who's telling you this, they are just dead wrong. They're not telling you the role they played in it. They try to make it seem like, oh, everybody is just against me and this is what they did and I wouldn't have responded that way if they didn't do this. They don't want to take responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault, and the only reason I did this is because they said this to me, and want to give you a sob story so you'll take their side. Like as if we're still 4 and 5-year-olds instead of 40, 50, 30-year-old people. Perception and deception. That's what I mean or wanted to talk about today about perception and deception. First of all, you never know who. So while you running your mouth and you talking about people and you throwing dirt on their name, you don't know who. 6 degrees of separation is real, people. You don't know who knows who. And they sitting there taking everything that you say, they just taking it all in, and you don't know that they may be related to the very person you had a job interview with. And they go and tell the person, don't hire them, they messy. You don't know, you could be talking to the cousin, the uncle, the brother, the sister, the father, the mother, the grandmother of somebody. And you just dogging them and everything, and you have no idea who you're talking to. You posting stuff on social media, and you don't know who looking at your page, who reading that post, and then you wonder why your life is just the way that it is. You wonder why you having financial trouble. You wonder why you having car trouble. You wonder why your relationships aren't working. Because of the gossip, because you gossiping. And you talking about people and you don't know who know who. You don't know who know who. You really don't. Perception and deception. Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. When you are looking at something, ask what perception is this person trying to lead me to believe or to embrace. Ask that before you start commenting on anything, before you share anything, before you hit the share button, before you hit the retweet button. Really ask yourself, is this really genuine? Should I really be getting myself involved in this? Should I really be stating my opinion about this, or should I just shut up and keep it moving? Because I'll say this and then go to the next topic. I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, you know what? Imagine if everybody just minded their own business. If everybody just took care of their household. I said, if we did an experiment, let's say we did an experiment for 1 month. For 1 month, all you could do was, for 1 month, you just focused on what was going on in your house. That all you cared about in your house was what was going on in your house. That's all you cared about. You took care of your spouse, your children, or if you're single, you just took care of yourself. All you focused on was what you did or what's going on in your household. You took care of you, whatever your spiritual practices are, that's what you engaged in. That's what you did. You know what I mean? You didn't do anything else. You didn't engage in no gossip. You just took care of yourself. You exercise. You all of that. All you did for 30 days or 31 days, depending on which month you chose, or 28 days or 29 days. You just took 1 month and all you did was focus on what is going on in your household. You didn't mind anybody else's business. You weren't concerned with nothing else going on outside of what is going on in your household. You focused on your children. You focused on yourself. You did your self-care. You did your personal development. You and your spouse, or if you're living with a girlfriend and boyfriend, you just focused on each other. Or you focus on yourself if you're single and no children. You just focused on yourself. You didn't care what was going on outside of your home. Didn't care nothing. Nothing. You didn't nothing. Nothing got your attention. You didn't care what the neighbors was doing. You didn't nothing. You just focus on yourself for 1 month. Do you realize, and I was talking to someone yesterday and I was telling them, do you realize that the world outside, that after that month, when you step outside, the world will be totally different. It will have to change. You want to know why it has to change? Because you changed. You focused and committed 30 days or a month to just focusing on you. The world outside can't help but to change because you changed. Your perception changed. You now see things differently. So the person that is getting on your, the colleague or the boss that's getting on your nerve are now different. The neighbor that may be getting on your nerve is now different. You see them differently because you went within. You focused on you. You stopped blaming all these external people, things, and factors about why you just can't get it together and all this other stuff. I guarantee you, if we all did that, and we stop making assumptions about why we think this person ain't doing this and why they can't get this done and trying to control stuff outside of your household and making judgments and passing judgment. If we stop doing all of that and just focus on ourselves, we would realize the very things that irritated us, that we were questioning or that we were judging, don't even matter. And we will start to see the world and the people that we live around and that we work with in a totally different perspective. Because it's so easy to judge. It's so easy to make assumptions. But it's harder to go and just talk to a person and ask them what's going on. It's harder to shut your mouth and go inside your house and focus on you, and then you would realize, and it will be an ouch moment that, oh, I'm over here throwing shade and talking about this person, and I ain't got it all together. It's harder to do that. And it's easier to say, well, why ain't they doing this? And they need to be doing that. And look at this and look at that. And they need to get it together. And you don't have no idea what's going on in their life. And then the opposite of that, I'm hearing to say the opposite of that, you'll start opening your eyes and realizing how you're being deceived. Because the opposite of that is you make judgments and you put people on a pedestal. Oh, look at them. They're so, helpful and they're so articulate and, they're so motivated and they're so caring and they're just a go-getter and, they just care. And then you realize once you go within for a whole month and you focus on you, you realize that you've been deceived. That this person is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. They really are not who they have been appearing to be. But because you were so focused on what's going on outside of you, and you didn't take the time to stay in the home and mind yours, that you were being deceived. And you were believing that this person was caring and kind, and they're not. They're ready to take you out at any given moment. They just as jealous and mean and spiteful and hateful as can be. So it works both ways. Going within 1 month and minding your business, you get to see people for who they really are. Either you made a judgment and you thought that they were just the scum of the earth, or they just lazy, and you realize, oh wow, you realize like that's not the case. They really had something else going on. Or you don't put a person on a pedestal and you just thought that they were just all of this in a bag of chips, and you realize that they are dangerous people and you really need to avoid them. Stop, Ginger. So I challenge you to do it for 1 month. Just stay and take care of you. Mind your business. Don't worry about nothing else going on outside of your home, in your relationship with your children or spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, or the relationship with yourself. 1 month, and your eyes will be opened. It's like a video I did a while back. You're gonna realize that your friends are your enemies and your enemies are your friends. You're gonna realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. You're gonna realize that some people just talk a good game and they just know how to make things appear a certain way, but they ain't got it all together. And they barely surviving. They barely hanging on. Last thing is the 21-day fast. Yesterday, Sunday, October 27th, Sunday, October 27th, 2024, I completed a 21-day fast. Now, let me do a disclaimer first. Spirit made it very clear to me that I am not to endorse anybody's, I want to say endorse, or endorse anybody's, I don't want to say endorse. I use the word endorse, but I use it very loosely. I am not to encourage anybody to join a church, because if something happens, then your blood is on my hands. All I am instructed to do is to tell you the different ministries that God has placed on my path, on my specific path, to give me the things that I need at the time in which I need them in order to complete my divine assignment and purpose in this world. Okay? So I'm not here to tell you go join this church to become a member. I'm just telling you that my interaction with them, my experience with them, and if it's something you want to look into based on my experience, then that's on you. Anytime I mention any ministry, it is not an endorsement. I'm not telling you to all become a member, because as God told me, your blood is not going to be on my hands. So if something happens and you don't stay, or you get offended, or whatever may happen, some scandal may break out in the church, you're like, oh well, Tia, she told me. And no, I'm only here to tell you my experience, my experience and how it benefited me. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm very clear on that. Very, very, very clear on that. It's up to you to decide where God, the Holy Spirit, is leading you as far as a church home, or if you want to get involved in the institution of religion in the church. That's on you and God and what God tells you to do. So I engaged in a 21-day fast with a church called Kingdom Full Tabernacle, KFT. They're located in Darien, Connecticut. I am not a member of their church. I'm not getting paid. This is not an endorsement of their ministry whatsoever. Okay? this is just how it has benefited me. So I was instructed, and I said this, I think it was through one of my Bible study videos, or it may have been another podcast video. I was instructed to participate in a 21-day fast, and not in the sense of fasting from food, because that was not a challenge for me. I said it in one of my videos. I have fasted for up to 14 days, where I mean I didn't eat anything. All I drank was water. So that was not going to fast for 21 days. And some people did a dry fast. Some people that they didn't eat anything for 21 days and they just drank water. Some people, they did the Daniel fast, where, just fruits and vegetables. And they did it where they didn't eat from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day for 21 days. It was all just whatever the Holy Spirit told them to do. The Holy Spirit told me, no, you're going to, for 21 days, you're going to engage, because during the fast, they have 4 times a day in which they prayed. So they prayed at 5 a.m., 6 p.m., they prayed at 12 a.m., 5 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. So that was my instruction. My instruction was, that's how you're going to participate in this fast. You're going to attend all of the prayer sessions. So for 21 days, I attended all of the prayer sessions, and it was hard. It was challenging. My sleep schedule was just all jacked up. Like it was a challenge. That was a challenge for me. The fasting would have been so easy, because like I've said, I literally fasted for 2 weeks before, and all I did was drink water. That's it. So that would have been nothing for me. After, like I've said in the previous video, after the 3rd day, I'd have been good to go. So that wasn't a concern of mine. That wasn't an issue for me. So, but attending the 4 days was challenging. So as they ended the fast this past weekend, on Friday, they did from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. So 6 p.m. Friday until 6 a.m. On Saturday, they did a 12, they had a 12-hour prayer marathon. So on Friday, what was it? On Friday, which was, what day was that on Friday? Friday the 25th, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., I prayed for 12 hours. Now, theirs was different than what I was accustomed to. One of the churches that I belonged to, when we did prayer, we didn't stop. Like we would come in, like say for instance, we were doing midnight prayer, and midnight prayer was from 9 p.m. until 12 a.m. So what we would do is we would come in, and the bishop would, we would sing a song, we do praise and worship, and then after that, the bishop would explain to us what we were praying for, what the prayer points was, what we were praying for. And, then he would give us the instructions, the protocol about how you can pray, how you can move around, you don't have to stay seated, all of that. That took about literally no more than 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, if that long. And by 9:30, we were praying, and we didn't stop. We did not stop. Like once we started praying, and we were praying in the spirit, we were praying tongues. So once we started praying, we didn't stop. Whereas KFT does it different. They did it differently, where they would pray a prayer point, pray for 3 to 5 minutes, and then stop, pray another prayer point. So that was different for me. And hold on one second. Hey, it's D. I got your message. Hey. When you come, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job. So I don't want you to get offended when I say this. Okay. When you come, do not blow anywhere near that light. Like, because I have leaves. I have not raked the leaves. I have not done that. So I know you're going to have a lot of things that you're going to have to bag. Do not blow near the light. Because what I'm not going to do is have issues with the neighbor. Because I've had enough of her. So don't blow nowhere near that light. Just however you gotta blow it and bag it up, just do what you gotta do, but do not blow near the light. Because I've had enough of her and I don't want you to be involved in it. Okay, so whatever, I want to keep it as calm as possible. I don't want you to be involved in it at all. Please do not take it like I'm being mean to you. Because you do an excellent job. I can care less when you blow it, but it's with her. So however you gotta blow it to keep it blowing on that light, you gotta blow all the leaves in front of my house and pick it up. Do that, but do not blow near the light. Okay, and you're only gonna do the front line. I just want the front line, the front yard done. That's it. Yeah, but please do not take that the wrong way. I'm not being like aggressive toward you because it has nothing to do with you.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to be talking. I don't want to be talking to one of us with the neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't. Please know my heart is not to be aggressive and mean towards you. It is not. It's not. So yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, I apologize, y'all. But as I was saying, like they prayed differently. Like I was used to, like I said, once we start praying, it was on and popping. Like we didn't stop until 12 a.m. But it was still effective. Because one thing is good to try something different and to do things differently. And it doesn't mean that just because they do things differently, it's not effective and it's not powerful, it's not anointed, your prayers aren't being heard. That's just how their protocol, how they do it, and how God has led them to do it. So that experience like really changed me, because by the time we were done at 6:00 in the morning, it actually was like 6:30 in the morning on Saturday, I was like crying, bawling my eyes out, because I felt in the spirit something has shifted with me. Like me maintaining that focus for 12 hours, because on YouTube, you've seen me do it. I've prayed for like an hour straight, 2 hours straight, not just nonstop. I have videos on here to prove it. Like I can pray. I can at least pray. I know for a fact I can at least pray for 4 hours straight and don't stop. The 12 hours, it was like, whoa. And I just told myself, I was like, back in the day, I would go to the club and I'd be in the club to 2 a.m. And then if we would go to an after hour spot or go get something to eat, I may not get home to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then let's count the time it takes you to get ready. Especially women. Oh, I don't want to wear this outfit, or I don't know about this outfit, all that stuff. So easily going to the club and getting ready, that's 5 or 6 hours right there. And if I could do that for entertainment and foolishness, then clearly I can pray for 12 hours. And that's what I did. And it really, of all the things in the fast, not saying that the 21 days, the 4 times that we met a day praying, that wasn't powerful and effective, but that 12-hour prayer time, it changed me. I ain't even here to hold you up. It changed me. It truly changed me. Like it truly, truly, truly changed me. And that is the thing that I will always remember about that fast. And whenever I feel like outside forces are trying to get the best of me, I will always remember. I will always remember, like, girl, you prayed for 12 hours. Do you know what that means? Like, do you know what that means? So, yeah, that is what I had to say about the 21-day fast. Like, even talking about it almost brings me to tears. It changed my life. Like, it really changed my life. And I was praying before, but this let me just really realize, like, I should, from the day from, it should not be a day that I don't pray for at least an hour. It's just, unless you went through the fast, I don't even know words to describe it. I don't even know. And I wrote down some things that I wanted, that I intended for the fast. But once I got into it, I say probably like the third or fourth day, those things didn't even matter. Like they really didn't even matter. To me, they were so petty and so, to me, worthless, useless, that once I was into 4 or 5 days in the fast, the things that I had wrote down that I wanted to accomplish during the fast, it didn't even matter no more. It didn't matter. It just truly didn't matter. Like there was definitely a shift in me in the spirit. It definitely was. So KFT, they do this marriage and destiny fast like every year. I believe they do it around the same time. I don't know where the Lord, where God gonna have me a year next year, 2025 this time. I don't know if I'm gonna participate in the fast again next year. I don't know that. But it's something that you can look into if you're interested. They're on YouTube, KFT. You can look at their videos and go back and watch the testimonies that came out of the fast. It was an amazing experience for me. It was an amazing, and I just love to see their dedication, how organized it was. Like you can really tell that this was not no overnight thing. Oh, we're going to fast for 21 days. No, you can really tell, because I believe this is their 7th year doing it. May have been the 8th year, but I want to say this is their 7th year doing a fast. But you could really tell that they were very detailed. They were very organized. It was thoroughly planned out. Like you can really tell God's hand was on it. It was just not no slapping something together and we're gonna fast. Like it was, and it's like it was very supportive. It just wasn't like, oh, we're doing this fast and you was just out there by yourself. No, at least 4 times out the day you had a support system. You could get online because they broadcasted every prayer watch, the 4 times out the day in which they prayed. It was broadcasted on YouTube and I believe on their Facebook page. So you knew that you had a support system. Like if you weren't physically there in Darien, Connecticut, or in their other branches, you had a support system. You were not just in this alone. It wasn't like, oh, the pastor on Sunday say, oh, we're going to pray, we're going to fast this week, and then you don't see nobody until the next Sunday. It was not like that. You were very well supported and encouraged. Nobody looked down on you if you broke the fast. Nobody cared if you didn't come in until the second week of the fast. It was none of that. It was none of that. It was none of that. So that was my experience with the 21-day fast. And that ends this podcast for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here are the ways in which you can give, listed on the screen. Thank you so much. And as always, pay attention to what you don't see, because what you don't see will help you make sense of what you are seeing. And until next time, stay great and stay aware.